Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 35 of the Image Comics of Transformers. Now, we're pretty much on issue 35, and if you remember back at issue 34, we've seen all kinds of mayhem happening, one of which had Shredhead in critical condition, after they let their need to be the strong warrior get the better of them. And the cover mainly has Breakdown as well as Knockout looking all menacingly on Cybertron. And the story mainly starts off on the Cybertron shroud at the Pacific Ocean. We see how Wheeljack is building his main project and saying, that joint should have fit smoothly. Did I somehow manage? Wrong, sloppy. Get it together, Wheeljack. So much going on, no room for errors. And we see right away his main project is being the exosuit, which is going to make the work on rebuilding Chicago a lot easier, helping the humans have more efficient equipment for construction. And of course, after that's done and having a few of them made, he'll be working on his next project, which of course is going to be the Dinobots, showing how Wheeljack is going to focus mainly on the exosuit first, and then on the Dinobots, showing that Wheeljack will work on one project, and then work on his prime one for the main idea. And right away, we see how Starscream gets up onto the Energon Shard, no doubtly going to rebuild himself and gain the other fallen bodies of Astrotrain, Slipstream, Blitzwing, and so forth to rebuild his own army. And right away, we see how Optimus now sees that Shredhead's in critical condition, and of course, they need to get transport to get Shredhead to Wheeljack. And of course, Optimus finds out that he can't reach the Aerobots, and even Optimus points out that the Aerobots are much more faster than any of the Earth vehicles, but we see how Colonel Flag offers to help, and of course, mainly takes Shredhead's body to Shadow Watch. But we see how Optimus reassures Cliff Chomper that he did good work, the same with Shredhead, and that without Onslaught, the Combaticons can't form their main piece to form Bruticus, so it does give them a tactical advantage. But of course, we see how at the Himalayan mountains, we see right away Thundercracker along with the Aerobots try to make it to the location to try and confirm Thundercracker's fears about Cobra-La, unaware that Skywarp is following them. And we see how at the Ark, RC Magnus gets word from Optimus that Shredhead's in critical condition and they need to leave quickly. And we see how at the Nemesis at the Decepticon stronghold, Soundwave is mainly informed that Onslaught is dead, and of course isn't really pleased about all of the Energon that was wasted, and of course this is obviously Soundwave not happy that the Combaticons' recklessness, foolishness, had not only lost them one of their team members, but also their resources. And we see how at Shadow Watch Underground Base, where obviously Wheeljack shows up to try and help, and says, "Where is Shredhead? Show me the way. How much Energon do they have in reserve? And what kind of facility are we in?" "This way. I believe they have everything you need. They were able to stabilize Shredhead." "Stabilize? Who is that?" And of course, it turns out that Dr. Arkenville is using Onslaught's parts to help stabilize Shredhead. And of course, you can tell from obviously Wheeljack's reaction, saying, "You're fixing Shredhead with Decepticon parts? No, so that simply won't do." And of course, you can tell from his reaction, he doesn't want to see Shredhead end up like Optimus, when Optimus ended up kind of going crazy when he had Megatron's arm. So it's kind of seen from his perspective, he's just worried that Shredhead could end up going psychopathic, or basically ended up having some of Onslaught's personality. And of course, this is Arkenville thinking he's done nothing wrong, showing how failing to see things from other people's perspectives is going to make you fail to see that other people might have justified reasons. So of course, we kind of see how Thundercracker wants to kind of find out about Kobolar Base, and of course, Thundercracker ended up meeting Skywarp. And of course, this is obviously Skywarp trying to play on Thundercracker's sympathetic nature, thinking that he brought the Aerobots to their doom, and Thundercracker saying, I would never, I just have to see that place again. I have to know it was real. The state I was in, I doubt it was. I certainly couldn't tell you. You gone in sloppy, and I gone soft. I should have just blasted you from the sky. And of course, right away, this is Thundercracker assuming that maybe he still means something to him, but fails to see that Skywarp is just too far gone to be helped. And despite him trying to get him to see sense, Skywarp is too blinded by his own arrogance and ego to be helped by anyone. And of course, both mainly duke it out, and of course the Aerobots try to help, but of course we see how because of Thundercracker being careless, of course ends up causing the mountains to tremble with a large avalanche. And of course, Thundercracker worrying about the Aerobots, but turns out they're okay until they hear a buzzing sound, and now have to deal with Kobolar, with the soldiers saying, Kobolar la 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 la! And of course, ending the story here. So I think here, issue 35 is telling the next part of the story. Like, we are going to see more about this Dr. Arkenville person. We are going to see Starscream eventually returning, and probably getting the other fallen bodies of Astro Crane, Slipstream, as well as Reflector, to try and build his own army again, showing that Starscream still won't learn from his mistakes after what happened last time. I think it's an okay issue, does what it needs to do, so it definitely deserves our thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, kind of okay, but there to tell the next part of the story. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.